Hello students, welcome back. Already in last class we discussed about the spectral series and it was given the introduction about that one. Now again we have to discuss about the full formation of the spectral series. Right. So first of all, the definition what we could is the set of hydrogen spectrum lines in which the spacing between them decreases regularly is called as the spectral series. And here the spectral series, first it was observed by Balmer in ultraviolet region. That series is called as the Balmer series. So the first spectral series it was observed in the visible region, that it is called as the Balmer series or Balmer spectral series. And similarly afterwards Lyman, Paschen, Brackett and Pfund. Now here how we have to define the Lyman series means the series of spectral lines it was observed in ultraviolet region is called as the Lyman spectral series. And similarly, the Balmer series means the series of spectral lines it was observed in visible region is called as the Balmer series. And the definition for the Paschen series is the series of spectral lines was observed in near infrared region is called as the Paschen series. And fourth one, the Brackett series. The series of spectral lines observed in infrared region is called as the Brackett series. Now the last one is, fifth one is Pfund. The series of spectral lines observed in far infrared region is called as the Pfund series. Here in this one, how we have to determine the minimum wavelengths and the maximum wavelengths distributed as different spectral lines. That was given by Balmer, an empirical formula already told what it is here. 1 by lambda is equal to R into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. That means so 1 by lambda is equal to R into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. It was good. Where R means Rydberg constant 1.097 into 10 power 7. That is the constant value. Then how the N1 values and N2 values changes with respect to the series and how to calculate those. Now we have to see with respect to the tabular form as shown in the diagram. Now you see here, so first of all, in the Lyman series, if you want to calculate the wavelength value, first of all, Lyman series is number 1. That's why here the final orbital number here you have to take 1, whereas the initial energy state we will consider as 2, 3, 4 and so on in time. Now substituted these values. So this one is the maximum wavelength and this one is the minimum wavelength. So where the spacing is more, there the lambda value is more. Where the spacing is very less, then that wavelength is infinite or lambda minimum. Now the lambda maximum how to determine is 1 by lambda maximum is equal to R into 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square. This one is the maximum. And next, minimum. Minimum means lambda infinite or lambda minimum. It may be represented as R into 1 by 1 square minus, in place of N2, just replace it by infinite. Then we got minus 1 by infinite square. Similarly, for the Balmer series, already it was calculated in the previous class. And again you see, For the Balmer series, the first final orbit is energy state is 2 and initial energy state is 3, 4, 5 and so on infinite. And similarly, for Paschen series, N1 is equal to 3, N2 is equal to 4, 5, 6 and infinite. And for Fun series, N1 is equal to 5 and N2 is equal to 6, 7, 8 and so on infinite. Now, for the different series, here we have to calculate lambda maximum, lambda minimum values. How means? So first of all, Balmer series we will take. For the Balmer series, that lambda maximum value that it is given, lambda maximum 656.3. How we can able to calculate this? R into 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 3 square. Then we got H alpha. H alpha value how much we got here? That means maximum value how much we got here? H alpha is 656.3 nanometers. And similarly for the H infinite value for the Balmer series is R into 1 by 2 square minus 1 by infinite square, which gives H infinite is the minimum wavelength value is 364.6 nanometers. And similarly for Paschen series, it is minimum wavelength is 820 nanometers and maximum wavelength is 1875 nanometers. And for bracket series, lambda infinite, that is minimum wavelength is 1447 nanometers, whereas the maximum wavelength is 4057 nanometers. And finally, the P-Fund series, the minimum wavelength value is 1447 nanometers, whereas the maximum wavelength for the P-Fund series is 7456 nanometers. So in this manner here we have to calculate any of the series we can able to calculate by using this formula, that is 1 by lambda is equal to R into 1 by m square minus 1 by m square. This is about the spectral series. Next, now we have to discuss about the Bose model of hydrogen atom. Right. In the Bose model of hydrogen atom, we already discussed some limitations within the Rutherford. So that was modified by Niels Bohr in his model. Right. So first of all, we have to discuss about what the limitations are there within the Rutherford. So the first one is, it was given the planetary model. The electron is revolved around the nucleus as the earth how it is rotating. The earth how is rotating around the sun. That means it was given the planetary model. But in the planetary model, if we are going to compare with that of this electron and nucleus, here there is the force in between them is electrostatic Coulombic attraction forces in between them, Fe. Whereas in between the earth and sun there is the gravitational force. So that's why it is contradiction to compare the planetary model. And the second one is, as the electron is revolving around the nucleus, it is accelerated. Every time the velocity changes in its circular path. Whereas if this radiating particle always radiates electromagnetic energy equal to its number of rotations per second. Then as it is rotating, then what happens? It radiates the energy. As it radiates the energy of accelerating this particle, then what happens here? It is always comes towards, close towards the nucleus. But because energy decreases. As the energy decreases means due to the attraction force with respect to the positive, it is always come towards the nucleus. Hence what happened? This electron that it is come towards the nucleus and combined and the atom was collapsed. But it was not happened. That means this one is contradiction. So Rutherford was not explained the stability of an atom. This is like it. And third one, what is it? As an electron revolved around the nucleus in certain circular orbits, it is radiating energy. As it is radiating energy, then what happens here? There is velocity changes. Velocity changes means the angular velocity of the electron revolved around the nucleus also changes. Hence, if angular velocity changes means the frequency of rotation of the electron also changes. Then, which is the continuous spectrum. That means it emits continuously the energy. So continuous spectrum, here it was formed. But this one is contradiction. In the hydrogen, it was formed a discontinuous spectrum. That's why Rutherford unable to explain the spectra due to this reason. So now these three can be modified by using three postulates of Niels Bohr. That only we have to discuss. Right. Now coming to that, Niels Bohr postulates. What the three postulates has given in order to modify the Rutherford's planetary model means the first one. The electron is revolving around the nucleus in a specified stationary orbit or energy state. While the electron revolving around the nucleus, it will not radiate energy. While the electron revolving around the nucleus in a specified stationary orbit, it will not radiate the energy. That's why there is no loss of energy. Hence, the electron always stable or stationary or within the energy state. It was given, that is the first one here. So now let us suppose here this one is the electron, here it is revolved around the nucleus. This may be the first energy state. While the electron here it is revolving, there is no loss of energy. The energy remains the same. Hence it is called as the stationary orbit or energy state. and the explanation what was given here. Now this is the electron and here this one is the distance between them, that is smaller here we take. Whenever the electron is revolved around the nucleus in a specified orbit, the required centripetal force it was supplied by the electrostatic Coulombic attraction forces between them. So hence what happened here, that electrostatic forces is equal to the centripetal force in between the electron and the nucleus. Hence what the formula here. So let us suppose here this one is the Ze for hydrogen like atoms and this one is the charge of the electron is E. So let us suppose here this one is Q1 and let us this one is Q2. Then so 1 by 4 by epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square is the Coulomb's law and Fc. Centripetal force means mv square by R. Now substitute those values of Q1 and Q2. Then what we got here? Ze. So that Ze square divided by R square and is equal to mv square by R. This is the result of the first postulate. So due to this reason only, the electron is in its stable state without radiating energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation. Now coming to the second postulate. Here is the second postulate. What was given? Let us suppose here this one is the nucleus and here this is the electron and who is having v velocity and m mass. Then the angular velocity L is equal to mv. So the electron revolved in the stationary orbit around the nucleus, in which the angular momentum of that energy state some integral multiples of h by 2 pi. That means M is equal to mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. So in what energy state the angular momentum should be integral multiples of h by 2 pi? In that energy states only the electron it is revolving without radiating the energy. It was given that way. L is equal to mvr is equal to mh. So L is equal to mvr means we know that. So we know that linear momentum P is equal to mv. Linear if we are following the straight line path, but it is circular path. In the circular, here we will take in place of momentum, angular momentum will take. In place of mass, that moment of inertia will take, and in place of velocity, angular velocity we consider. Now we know that according to the definition of moment of inertia, mr square, whereas here this one is angular momentum omega, and according to the definition of omega is equal to v by r. Then here we may write L is equal to mvr. So in this manner we are writing L is equal to mvr is equal to nh by 2, where n is integer. So what is value? 1, 2, 3 and so on infinite. So how many number of energy states here we are taking? It is indicated. And n is called principal quantum. N is called as principal quantum number. So this is about second postulate. Now here we have to discuss about the third postulate. In third postulate, what was given? Whenever the electron transition, so the electron might be transition from the non-radiated energy state to the other non-radiated energy state. So let us suppose here this one is the nucleus, this one is the first energy non-radiating energy state, and let this one is the second non-radiating energy state. So let here this one is U1 and here this one is the energy state U2. Whenever the electron is transition from that higher energy state to that lower energy state, then it emits the electron in the form of radiation. So this energy is equal to the difference between the energy states, E1 difference, E2. So otherwise you may take here, this one is the initial energy state and then this one is the final. Then here you may take E is equal to EI minus EM. Again, what has given here? Whenever it might be an electron transition from the non-radiating energy state to the another non-radiating energy state as shown in the diagram. Then energy released or energy gained, that is equal to the energy difference between that energy states. That is EIF is equal to EI minus EF. Otherwise you may write E is equal to E1 minus E2. Whereas if you want to write EI minus EF, then EI should be greater than EF. The energy of the initial one is greater than the energy of the final one. Then here you will. So otherwise, under consideration also here will be. Let us suppose it. An electron here is there. So if you are applying, otherwise if you are passing the light incident on this, then what happens here? The electron jumps from the lower energy state to the higher excited energy state as shown in the diagram. This one. And how much energy it required to excite an electron from lower energy state to the higher energy state means here you may calculate E. This one is the final one and this one is the initial one. Then here you may write this one is EI difference EF. So this is also true, right? So this is about the third postulate. That means energy conservation, how the energy distributed and it will be converted to the radiation. When the electron radiates the energy, it was given this postulate. So here in this manner, these three postulates you should remember. So this is about Niels Bohr postulates, very very important. And next topic is, by using these postulates, now here we have to calculate the radius of the stationary orbit in hydrogen atom. Calculation of radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Now, by using these postulates, how we have to calculate the radius of hydrogen atom? We have to see. Now, let us suppose here this one is the nucleus and These are the different energy, non-radiating energy states like as you take E1, E2. Otherwise, here you may take N1 is equal to 1 and N is equal to 2 and so on like this. Here we take. And let us suppose here this one is M mass of the electron and here it is having V velocity. Then by virtue of velocity, okay, now here we have to apply that two postulates of Bose. So according to first postulate, what is it here? The required centripetal force was supplied by the electrostatic attraction force between them. Then Fc means mv square by r is equal to Fv means 1 by 4 pi epsilon r. This one is Ze and here this one is the E. Let Q2 is equal to E and Q1 is equal to Ze. Then Z square by r square. And also according to the second postulate of Bose, what is it? The electron revolved around the nucleus in which the angular momentum of the orbit, it should be integral multiples of L is equal to integral multiples of h by 2 pi. That means L is equal to mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Now our aim is to calculate what it is here. The radius of the orbit, nth orbit from the nucleus located at Rn distance. Now we have to determine Rn value. So in order to determine the Rn value, let us suppose here for nth orbit here we have to apply the formula. Then mv Rn is equal to mh by 2 pi and here also mv square by Rn is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze square by Rn square. So here in this one Rn and here Rn square, one time it was cancelled and from this we have to write mv square is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze square by Rn. We need to calculate Rn, that's why we need to eliminate the value of V here. So in order to eliminate the V value, we will take the help of this formula. From this one, how we will write? V is equal to nh by 2 pi. V is equal to how we have it? M R N. So now let us suppose here this one is the first expression and let this one is the second expression. Just you logically you think. So our aim is to determine Rn value. Then only we have to keep R values. And the velocity was replaced by some other formulas like. So therefore Vn is equal to nh by 2 pi mRn. Now Vn it was replaced by using this formula. Now 2 in 1 implies. How we have to write? Vn square. Vn square means n square h square 4 pi square m square Rn square. Why? Because m v n whole square is there now. That's why Vn is equal to nh by 2 pi m Rn. We have to substitute in the place. Now this will be equated to that 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze square by R. Then here in this one, this Rn and here this one is of Rn, it may get cancelled. Now this is the 4 pi and here 4 and pi square means pi one time it was cancelled. And similarly this one is m and here in the m square one time it was cancelled. Now our aim is to determine Rn. Hence Rn value here you have to write. So first of all you have to write remaining m square h square divided divided by pi m Rn is equal to z e square by epsilon. So from this one Rn is equal to. So I want to get this Rn value. That's why Rn value into this multiplied with this with respect to this numerator. Then what we got? Rn is equal to n square h square divided by pi m Rn pi m. This Rn this side is now epsilon r by z is square. Here you calculate. So that epsilon naught divided by z square. So this one is the value of r. So how much we got here? Rn is equal to n square h square epsilon naught pi m z square. Now this will be applied for what atom here? Hydrogen. So that's why now this will be applied for hydrogen means. So what we got? For hydrogen Z is equal to 1 proton here, and for the first orbit here you may take n is okay. So that for hydrogen atom here Rn it will be gives n square h square epsilon naught divided by pi m e square. Right. So for example, if you want to calculate from this one, what we have here, Rn is directly proportional to n square. That means as the number of energy states increases, then the radius also increases. For example, this one is R1 and this one is R2 and next one is R3. So in this manner the radius becomes increases. That is the relation here it is showing. And next, for the first orbit, how much it has? So actually that in the hydrogen atom, the first orbit radius it is called as the Bose orbit. So now we have to calculate Bose orbit. So for Bose orbit it should be z is equal to 1, n is equal to 1. Then the Bose orbit R naught, how it changes here? R naught, the Bose orbit it was indicated by R. Then R naught is equal to n square means 1 after. Then h square epsilon naught pi m e square. Now substitute those values. So what we got here? R naught is equal to h square epsilon naught divided by pi m e square. Where h is the Planck's constant, the value is 6.6252 10 power minus 34 joules second, and epsilon naught value is 8.856 10 power into 10 power minus 12 coulomb square Newton meter square, and pi value is 3.142 and mass of the electron is 9.112 10 power minus 31 kg, and charge of electron is equal to 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. If we are applying all these values into this one, then we got, therefore R naught is approximately equal to the value of 0.53 angstrom units. So this is called as the Bose orbit. The Bose orbit means what? The radius of the first orbit in the hydrogen atom is called as the Bose orbit. That R naught is equal to 0.53 angstrom units. Similarly, we have to calculate the velocity in the next class. Thank you very much.